Hey, white toner users out there. I own a Uninet 550, and in this video I'm going to show you how to reuse your A sheets transfer papers over after you make a mistake instead of throwing it away. So, how this came about, um, I've messed up a lot of transfer papers, and so I was getting low and needing to order more, being discouraged because I feel like I've thrown away more profit than made it. And so I decided, well, I heard a voice, and I always say that that little voice that you hear is the Holy Spirit, tell me not to stop throwing the paper away and to reuse it. And so I was like, reuse it? So I went ahead and married the paper, and Ultra Bright, the Icolor Ultra Bright is my favorite. And that's because the coating is thick. It's like cloudy, and it usually gives me a really clean peel. So I think that may be why I'm able to reuse it. Um, I have some samples, but I am going to run a test and let you see exactly what I'm doing. But like on this particular transfer, you can kind of see the shadowing of several designs that I've ran this paper through, and I've married successfully. Um, it looks like this particular design had, oh, this design, I don't know if you can see the bear, but this whole page had a design with the bears on it, and they were for masks, and the color didn't come out right, so I couldn't use it. I went ahead and married it and pressed it on one of my scrap t-shirts, and I put it back through again. Um, there's a heart design on here. There's also a square. That was a design. And I believe, no, on this one I don't have the ribbon. So I used this one 3 times. And actually it's ready for number 4. And while I'm doing this video, this will be the sheet that I will redo for you. I'll go ahead and print Mary, apply to the shirt so you can see that this process does work. The key also to being able to reuse your transfers is never cut around your design after you print it. Even if it's a good one. What I've been doing, even with my good designs, I take my finger after marrying and I just scrape along the edges, because what's happening is when you marry them, the adhesive leaves a line alongside the transfer. And usually it'll get on your clothes if you don't cut it. So that's why the manufacturer always suggests that you cut it, because they know it's a given that you will get that white line. If you do this, scrape around and it doesn't come off and it ends up on your shirt anyway, that's not a problem. You can always use heat transfer tape. Put it on where it's at, press for about 30 seconds, and then you're able to pull it up hot. Pull it up while it's hot, and it should come up. And then, again, you should be able to use this paper again, use this transfer again. So in the midst of my experimenting, I used one sheet, I believe it was about seven times. And when it got to the point to where the marrying process didn't do well, then I knew it was time to give the sheet up. Like, okay, now it's time to go into the garbage, because I'm not successful with marrying anymore, and so that's why I can't use it. Actually, I tried recording this video earlier, and I did a lot of pressing on there just to realize that I had made some mistakes in it. So now I'm redoing it, and I don't have the things that I had earlier. Well, yes, I do. Well, for instance, this is one. Okay, this particular transfer, um, I ran through about 7 times. And if you look closely, you can see shadowing boxes on there, which I was working on a color chart. And so I ran it through, and I ran it through multiple times. And actually, this is some of the transfers that I actually put on shirts from, designs off of this one sheet right here. So in my other video, I had ran it through, and my toner was really low too. And so when it printed, it didn't do, the coverage is not good. And I'm really thinking it's because of the toner, that my toner was low. But I'm not gonna, guarantee that's why. It could be that the paper is finished, let me use it. So I figured right quick, I was gonna go ahead and show you, let you see myself go ahead and print a design on a used Icolor Select Ultra Bright transfer. So I'm going to go ahead and get the design set up, then I'll be back and show you the printing. Okay, so I have my design set up. I'm going to go ahead and let's print this. Okay, and let me send the design to the printer. Sorry, thought I had it set up. I have the wrong mode. I need my two-step select. Yes. Okay. All right. Go ahead and print. While that's printing, I also want to share when I do my marrying. This is a used B sheet with adhesive. I don't no longer throw these away either, because I found out that even though this has been through the process of getting heated up, it doesn't mess up the adhesion. So you can reuse it. So I'm going to cut the part and use it for my demonstration. Okay, so it printed. This is the back. So now I'm going to go marry it. Get set up over here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off this excess adhesive off this used B sheet. And this is what I'm going to use to marry my example design. Again, this is the Icolor Select Ultra Bright, and I like to keep my heat press at around 315, 316 for 140 seconds. So I'm gonna pause the video and I'll be back when it gets down low. Okay, we're just about there. We have a couple of seconds left. Okay, so as you can see, this is the peel. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply this to a shirt. I did notice that there is some excess adhesive on that came off. Let me see if I can scrape it off. Which really is not that important. Yeah, it scrapes right off, because this is not a design that I was planning on, wearing or keeping. As just basically just for a trial run, just to see how if it works, if I could reuse it again. So let me go ahead apply this to the shirt. But at least I can show you the white stuff. This is what usually is on the corner of your transfer sheet when you use a whole B sheet. So I press my design onto the garment for about 40 seconds. So I'll be back when it's near the end. Okay, have about 6 seconds left. Also, I kept the temperature at the 314 because this is only for the video purposes. Normally, I would turn the temp down to about 280, 270. If it's fully polyester, 260. My buzzer didn't go off because I still have the timer set for when I'm marrying. Okay, so right now I'm going to go ahead, as you can see, it's sticking there. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the freezer. I like doing that. That's the best method for me for the fast cool off. Okay, I just took it out the freezer, and now I'm going to take it off. Okay, so there we have it. And there's our design. There it is. So this makes this usage from this paper. Ooh, one, two. Maybe this is 3 or 4. I lost track. Okay, so this is with the Ultra Bright Select. I have not tried the standard paper. So this is a design that I had done, and this is on the standard. I'm going to go ahead and marry this, and then we'll see if we can reuse it. Okay, the marrying process is almost finished. I'll go ahead and do the peel, apply it to the shirt, and then go and set up so that we can run it through again. Okay. There we go. Very clean peel. And another place to watch out for the white adhesive getting on the transfer is when you apply your B sheet, you always kind of fold back the corner. Well, this is what you get. You get left over. You get this adhesive line right here. Don't worry about the crease, because when you press, it'll flatten out anyway. Okay, so while it's pressing on the garment, I'm going to go ahead and set up my next design. Okay, the press is done. Now it's time for me to go get it cool. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back with the shirt, and now I'm going to go ahead and peel it off. Again, this is the standard, so with the standard, you just kind of roll it off motion. So that's the peel. There it is on the garment. And white toner users, you know that after we press it on the garment, we just always do a second press. But for this video, I'm just trying to show that you can continue to reuse paper. So let's get back over to the printer so we can reprint this and see how it turns out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and insert this into my lower drawer. And this is print side is face up. Okay, let me send the design to the printer. It'd be nice if this really does work. And then after I do this one, I also have a transfer that I have on Forever paper. So we'll go through that and see if that one works as well. And I am in no means trying to take business away from Icolor or any of the other distributors. I couldn't even get the word out, um, for our transfer papers. I'm just trying to help us save um, a little money in the process of learning how to use the white toner process, and learn, and not wasting our paper, utilizing the paper, you know, to however we can. So okay, so now it's printed. Now we're going to go back over and marry. And it looks like it printed successfully. So now we'll go marry. Okay, so normally I would make my design smaller. If I was doing a test print, maybe this size or 2 inches, so that I can use a scrap of my B adhesive paper. But in this video, I'm going to go ahead. I wanted to do a full image so that we could really see if this process works. Going over a full image and then printing another full image. So let's marry this sucker. And normally we have a lot of B sheet left anyway because of all the mistakes we make with our A sheets. In the end, we always have leftover B sheets, so it's not really hurting anything. So when it gets close to being finished and ready to do the peel, I'll come back. Okay, it's just about ready. Okay, so as you can see there, this was a successful peel. And this is what our transfer is looking like. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere it to a shirt. And as you can see, again, the adhesive that's lining the edge. And sometimes it's a lot thinner and it's hard to see. And really it's not important because, like I said, this shirt is not for you. It's basically just for a design color check or whatever reason why you will want to print a trial design. Make sure all the previous presses are covered with parchment paper because white toner will stick to Teflon. And so that's why I'm just making sure, because it's one of my mistake shirts. So I turn it inside out, back side, front side, sleeve, anywhere I can find an empty space. That's using your whole shirt too with your mistakes. So I'm going to go ahead and let this press, and when it gets near the time to take to go get cool, I'll come back. Okay. 2, 1. All right. And I know my heat press, it definitely needs oiling. Okay, so here it is pressed, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the freezer. Okay, I'm getting ready to do the peel. Okay, guys. So, well, from looking on here, I do see residue left. I see some of the design coloring left. So with the standard, I don't think you may be able to get as many uses. Let me see. This was my second run with the standard. Yeah, I don't think you will get good luck with the standard. And I'm saying that is because you wouldn't want to run this back through with this residue through your printer. Um, you know, you're taking a chance of getting the tone on the rollers, or, you know, I don't want to, you know, cause you to have any warranties voided due to reusing the paper inadequately, especially when you got toner and stuff still on the paper. So, I'm not too sure about the standard, but this is the design and how it married. But for the most part, like I said, if I was just doing it just for a sample print, and I would probably do it about that size, use a scrap piece of B sheet, it served its purpose. It wasn't a total loss. So now I'm going to go ahead and set up for the Forever paper. Okay, as I was getting ready to prepare using the Forever paper, I noticed that the piece I was going to use is curled. So what I do in that case, I always just repress it on the heat press and flatten it. Leave it on for about 5 seconds between two sheets of parchment paper. And see, now it's flat. And if you're wondering why I'm using tape, it's because I do, like I said before, my machine is the Uninet 550. And it's very particular on what types of paper transfer, what type of transfer that it accepts, what brand. And with the Forever, it seems like it always has trouble pulling it through. It'll jam. Or when it prints, I'll get these streaks in it. One day, I was looking and I'm like, why is it not catching? Is it not thick enough? And as I mentioned before, that when I hear that voice giving me an ideal, I always give reference and praise to the Holy Spirit, because I said that's who gave it to me. I said, add some tape and see if it can grab onto it and pull it through. So that's what I did. I added 3 strips of tape, and I made sure that they did not hang over the edge of the transfer, because I didn't want to risk it getting wrapped around the roller as it rolled through the print. So that's what I've been doing ever since. So I'm going to get the design set up. Be back in a second. Okay, so because this is Forever, I'm going to stick it in the bypass tray, face down. Let me go ahead and send this print over. Okay. And since the design that I'm sending over is not a full design, I will actually be using a piece of scrap off of a used B sheet. I think I have one over there I can use. Oh no, I have one right here. No, I don't want to use that one. I need the Forever. That was my Select Ultra Bright. And as you can see, I had no printing problems. It printed perfectly. Yeah. So now I'm going to go marry it. Once it's married, I'll stop the video. I'll come back on right before I do the peel. I decided to just go ahead and video as I'm preparing to do the marrying process. This is a used Forever the adhesive sheet, and I'm using the part that never had a design and printed on it. Okay, so I'll be back when it's almost finished. Okay, timer is about to be up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I counted too fast. Did I lose it, guys? Let's see. Oh. Oh, here it is, guys. It's stuck. And then it fell and I couldn't find it. Okay. Hope I didn't wait too long to peel, because with this stuff you have to peel right away. And those few seconds looking for the transfer might have been a tad bit too long. It didn't marry quite perfectly. But for the most part, I think if this was a testing design, it did enough to where you could see the end result, if it was the right colors that you wanted to use or whatnot. So from this experiment, I think I would say, as my first belief was that the Icolor Select Ultra Bright is the best paper, best transfer to use, to buy, and to be able to reuse for the purpose that I was explaining earlier. So with that being said, 1 second, I'm going to get back over to my other seating area and just chit chat for a second. Okay, so what I wanted to chit chat about is basically what my next video may be on, and that is about pro grip users using the color change palette. And so this particular paper right here is the overhead type of transfer paper, and you can get this off of Amazon. 100 sheets for about $19.99, I believe I paid. There was a guy in my white toner success group on Facebook who recommended this, which is actually a great idea if you didn't want to use any of your A transfer sheets to run through and to print samples for color. But the problem with that is, it may be, I guess it's pretty close. It may be a little off, and this is what I'm going to show you. Okay, this is the Icolor Select. And so this is the color palette right here that was printed on this clear transfer sheet. So let me see if I can get them both at the same time. So if you noticed, okay, this is the green on the Select. This is the green on the clear. So it actually seems as though to me that all the colors are a tad bit darker on the actual transfer sheet than they are on the clear transfer. Now, you know what? I think I'm going to try something. I'm going to see with this clear transfer, if I can use a B sheet and it transfer off. So 1 second while I get... Okay, so I'm going to just use a regular 2-step standard paper. And this is a scrap sheet. I'm going to just cut off the unused part. I believe it's enough to cover this design. Yes, it is. Okay, so we're going to marry it with the same temperature as I would for my Icolor Selected Ultra Bright. The Ultra Bright Select. Sorry, not getting the name right. Okay, so I'm going to let it marry for 2 minutes. I'll be back. Okay, guys, let's see what happens. Okay, so it married perfectly except for I didn't put the B sheet over the entire image. So it wasn't that it didn't marry, I just didn't place it right. I think it might have slid. Okay, so now we're going to try and adhere it to a garment. And I apologize that I didn't adhere the Forever onto the garment. So I might do a double adherement with these two. So let's see if this shirt has any more room. And it does. I found the space. Put the Forever there. I'm going to put the Forever there. And I'm going to put the clear transfer. And again, it also has the adhesive line right there. And I'm going to see if I can scrape it off ahead of time. And if I don't get it all the way off, then I'll show you the tape method for those who don't know it. Okay, so I'm going to marry for the 40 seconds. I'm going to do the 40 seconds like I do with my Ultra Bright. I'll be back in a second. Okay, time is up. And as you can see that they're both stuck. So now I'm going to go throw them in the freezer. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. Now we're going to do the peel. And I'm going to start with the clear transfer. Okay. So for them, okay, let me go ahead and peel the other one. And this is the Forever. And yeah, the Forever, you can see a lot of the designs still adhere to the transfer paper. So that one's done. I don't think you can really reuse that one. And this is this side. I don't know if you can see it well. And then this side is the transfer, the clear transfer, overhead transfer. It also left a little residue on the transfer sheet. But for the most part, it's doable. It actually did. I'm going to do a second press on this. I'm curious. I'm just going to, maybe I would, I'm going to, no, my temperature is too high for my tea. I was going to use the tea seal, but my temperature is too high. Like I said, normally I do my second press under 300, maybe 280. If it's polyester, I'll go all the way down to 260, 265. But for this video purpose, I didn't want to have to keep adjusting my temp. So since I'm pressing at a higher temperature, I'm just going to use my parchment paper for the second press. And I'm just going to do it for like 20 seconds. Okay, so our 20 seconds is about up. Just about. Okay. I was curious to see if it would take the gloss off. Oh, wow. Yeah, it did. Let me see what this stretchability is like with the overhead toner. I mean, the overhead transfer paper. Well, it's not even transfer paper. It's that we're using it for it. This shirt has been used so many times. I'm just trying to get to where I can see if I can stretch it. Well, heck, guys. Look at that. I can't stretch it. So let me compare it with the color from the the other one I put on. Where did it go? Okay, good. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. So let's look at this. It was on this side. I'm sorry. That's because I have this inside out, and I have previous transfers that I did before. Okay, so if I recall right, this one was the Forever, and this one on top was the laser, the one for overhead printing. So let me stretch it. See if I can stretch. You know what? The lighting is horrible. Let me get back in my other stance, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's see if you can see it better over here. Yes, I believe so. So the bottom was the Forever, and the top is when I used the overhead projection paper. So I'm trying to see. You see that I'm stretching. Trying to see if it's cracking. Nope. You see that? No cracks. Okay. Now let me compare the two colors, because maybe on the overhead before it's married, you can't really see the color, but afterwards, maybe it's the same. Okay, so here's the blue. Let's see if I can get them right next to each other. Let me see what I can do here. Okay, so this is the blue from the overhead, and this is the blue from the Forever. This is the green from the overhead. This is the green from Forever. Okay, so these are the grays or the taupes. It seems like the overhead is a little bit dark. Well, no. In person, this has more of a brownish tone to it. This looks gray. The Forever looks gray. The overhead looks brownish. And, yeah. So, for the most part, I think just to use, just for sample purposes, because like I said, it did leave some residue on the transfer paper from this design. But other than that, I mean, it looks good, guys. I mean, it really does. I mean, it actually went into the fiber of this shirt. I don't know if you can see it. It really went into the fiber of it. So, hey, you know what? If it works, it works. So, when you use the overhead transparency paper, you have to set your cue in the ProRip to transparency media, and then you run that through your bypass tray. So just remember that. And also, like when I first tried to print the transparency, it kept giving me a paper jam. So what I did to prevent that was I had to use maybe about 5 or 6 regular copy paper and put up underneath it, and then it caught and it ran perfectly. So I don't know, it could just be my machine or not, but yeah. So if you want to try it, then that's just the advice that I'm giving you. Okay, so on another note, what I was going to say about the transparencies is that as you've seen the color differences. Okay, so I'm in the process of making a CMY color chart specifically for ProRip. That if you import this file into your ProRip and print it as is, that the codes that's by it, when you import it and color change, if you have a design and you want to change the color, or you want to make sure that the color, say for instance red, and you look at the chart, Um, it's I want you to know that what you see is what you're gonna get. So when you get a file, and I'm actually gonna sell it, but once you purchase it and put it and bring it into your ProRip and print it, I would suggest printing it smaller, because it's a lot. It's gonna be a lot of colors, and that's what's taking me so long. I'm trying to get everything situated because there's a lot. Print them small so that you can get more onto a shirt, because I'm going to suggest that you print one set on black and then the other set on a white shirt. And then that way you can use the shirts for reference, in your future projects. But the reason why I decided to do my own using the ProRip is because when I printed a CMY off of the internet and just brought into ProRip and printed it, this CMY right here, this color brown, is what I got, and it was 50, 50, 70. I just printed it just as it was. When I decided to print these, when I made the file for these right here, I decided to go into my ProRip color change and use the same numbers that they gave for that specific color. And from some odd reason, I don't know, um, that's actually, I don't know why on this file, and I think I forgot to change the color on this one, but in another file that I did, that 50, 50, 70 actually was the gray, this gray color that actually ended up printing through ProRip. It wasn't the brown that I thought I would get by importing the numbers that this CMY chart showed. So with that being said, that's what drove me to wanting to prepare a true CMY color chart specifically for ProRip users. So I'm hoping that this project, will be good. I hope it turns out the way that I hope it will. Um, this is a few samples and that I actually already done for myself. I'm using the method that I'm doing. I also um, used one sheet. I used one sheet of Ultra Bright Select to do these three. But like I said, it wasn't for a permanent wear. It wasn't for a client, even though I did use two sheets, the same sheet. I did three shirts. That I had 5 designs, and I actually ended up using two sheets for the 5 designs. Like I said, because when it starts to leave residue on the sheet, I don't want to use it anymore because I don't want to void a warranty. And I'm giving this disclaimer now. Please do at your own discretion. I don't want to be responsible for anyone saying, "Oh, I tried what she said and it messed my machine up." Do it at your own discretion, at your own risk. I am not going to be responsible for anything. I just know that it worked for me. I took the risk and tried it, and I'm not going to abuse it. Like I said, when it got to the point where I could see, more toner and adhesive left on the sheet, I was not going to run that through my $1,000 machine because I don't want to risk anything getting messed up. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will put the link below if anyone is interested in getting that clear transfer overhead paper that from the last example that I did. And then when I do get finished with the color chart that I'm working on, I will make another video on that and let you guys know about it. So thank you for watching, and I appreciate you. Bye.